Hi, I'm Rachel Weberman.
And I'm Haley Larson.
And we are
Duo Filamental. So when I was in college, I was studying dance. I got a dance degree from Oberlin and had been dancing since I was 4. And a really good friend of mine was basically like, oh, I do aerial. She was doing rope, and she just kept bugging me, being like, you should try it, you'll love it, you'll be so good at it because you're a dancer. And so I finally tried it and then immediately became obsessed and started taking as many classes as I could find.
So I was similarly doing it while I was in college, and you have classwork and other stuff going on, and at some point I started realizing that what I was looking forward to every day were the few hours we had of training time, and that was like what I was thinking about while I was doing my homework. I would like put down my computer for a second and like give myself like 5 minutes to think about circus. Like it was just like all I wanted to be doing. And by the time it got to my senior year and I was figuring out what I wanted to do afterwards, I realized that like if I didn't do this now, it was gonna get harder, not easier. And the more we did it, the more we were like, I think this is just what we want to do. So usually we set aside at least 2 hours of training time a day for us as a duo.
Some things are very sided, and we always do the same side in our act or in our choreography, and so you have to really think about what toll am I taking on which part of my body, and how can I do that equally for both sides, and or work against it by stretching or just doing exercises like PT exercises.
And also like learning when to rest is a big thing. It's a thing that takes a while to learn. At the beginning you're like, this is the best, I want to be doing this all the time. I don't ever want to stop, and then at some point you learn you don't stop, you get hurt and you can't do it as much, and that sucks too. I think a duo is a lot like a relationship. Like you have to have similar ideas about what works and what doesn't work, and like there's like values in what you prioritize in your act the same way that there are like values in any relationship.
It's a lot about our artistic aesthetic being similar.
Yeah.
And so we're compatible in that way. And then some amount of stubbornness of thinking that it would be really cool to be a female duo, doing things that not a lot of women are doing. Because like it's more likely that I would be a guy, and so me being a woman instead of a big dude makes it cooler in our brains.
It also means we have to like work really smart. We can't just muscle through things. We have to have our technique really on point, which is a nice challenge to have, and it makes us feel like we're doing the best job we can be doing.
I feel like a common misconception is that people who are doing circus or like didn't also have normal things that they do. You know, that like we've always been doing this, and that we, I don't know, are with the circus, whereas like I feel like we're pretty normal, we just happen to do this.
I feel like another one is that you have to start when you're really young and do this your whole life, otherwise there's no chance. But I started as an adult, I didn't have any gymnastics or dance training, and I came into it a lot later in life. I just liked being in the air, and I think circus is something that anyone can do if they take the time and get stronger, and we see that all the time when we teach. And I think a lot of people think that either you can do it or you can't, but really it's like anything, it's a skill. You get better with hard work. My family is supportive. I think they worry a lot about me getting hurt more than anything else, especially since I am flying through the air sometimes. That is their biggest concern.
But they still like talk to me and take me out to dinner and stuff. They're not like afraid I'm gonna...
No, they're very grateful that Haley catches me. But what I really like more than getting thrown around is we spend time doing research, which is when we think about what are new pathways of movement and what are new ways to think about certain skills that other people haven't done. What happens if I like put my foot here instead of there, which is where people normally put it. And that research time is the thing that I think makes me feel most fulfilled when I'm doing trapeze. It's figuring out something that I feel like no one else has done quite the way we are doing it before.
Yeah. It's very satisfying to have an idea in your head and try to make it happen and realize that your body is physically capable and strong enough to actually fulfill that idea.
Yeah.